Hey guys, and welcome to Overland NZ, and welcome to our build episode of our Hilux. Throughout these videos, we'll be taking you through the stages of turning our completely stock Hilux into a built-up, Overland-ready truck to go tour New Zealand in. It'll be kind of randomly shot over the next wee while, and it may not necessarily line up in terms of these things being done, these things we're doing, but I just kind of want to bring you along on the journey and I guess, yeah, just kind of go through what we're doing, why we're doing it, and show off kind of our vehicle and what it's going to do. If you've been following along on Instagram or Facebook, you'll also know that we have had some new wheels fitted. So basically, the RH 16x8 zero offset wheels, and yes, they do fit on a 2013 Hilux. Just. There is the tiniest amount of space between the brakes and those steelies, but they do seem to fit pretty good. Put our old Duratracks on from the Prado, and while a little bit noisier without all the soundproofing of the Prado, they do just as good as they did in that truck. The dudes down at Cars & Works have installed a 2-inch EFS spring lift and shocks. So up front we're running coil springs and a EFS shock in there. It's given us about 55 mils on the front at the moment. I assume that will settle a little bit though. And around the back we've gone with some EFS 150 kg constant load springs. So as we're not going to be running a front bar on the Hilux for the foreseeable future, I've decided that I'm going to stick the front LED spotlights and the UHF aerial of the nudge bar. Now, we only have 2 bottles on there, and the one on the bottom of the aerial here is way too big to fit through the hole. So hopefully my plan works. I've got a piece of aluminium that I'm going to run underneath the mounts for the lights, use the light bolts to hold everything on, and mount this just off to the side. So let's see how this goes. So I should explain, I'm not using the old mount. The UHF aerial that I bought came with one of these mounts. I ran it in our old truck without too many issues, but you can see on here, it's where the bonnet used to rub heaps, and while I didn't care too much in the old truck, this one's, pretty tidy, and I'm trying to keep it, so that the paint doesn't get chipped off of the bonnet, which is the point of what I'm doing here. So fingers crossed it works. Mounted up, obviously from the top you can see it, from straight on, nothing, and once the light's there it'll break up that aluminium bar quite a bit. So following on from the other night, I finally figured out how to get the spotlights mounted up onto the aluminium bar piece that I've chucked in. It's pretty much found some, if you can see them, found some longer bolts here. They now run up. The lights are mounted, the aerial's mounted on, and compared to how it was set up, everything's actually looking quite good now. So I picked up this giant box from Toyota on Friday, and believe it or not, it was cheaper to get one of these, genuine, than it was to buy one off of Trade Me, which is our equivalent to eBay or all those sites like that. It is a bonnet guard for the front of the Hilux, as I think they look pretty awesome, and it'll break up the chrome slash shininess of the front of the truck a little bit, hopefully. I reckon it's going to take about 15 minutes to install based on when I had a quick look at it the other night, but I honestly think it's going to take me way longer because, let's be honest, it's fiddly as hell to install one of these things. So yeah, let's get out of this box and go from there. I also have never understood why Toyotas give out instructions on yellow pieces of paper. Like, what's wrong with white paper? Anyway, let's get, that stays there, a bag of bits here. To be honest, it looks kind of simple. Bag of bits, that guy, onto that guy. installed. Shouldn't have taken me anywhere near as long as it did, but when you drop the screws everywhere, it does kind of waste a bunch of time. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked with that. For I think it was about $90 from Toyota. It looks pretty cool and has added a little bit of colour to the front of the truck.